Barnaby was, by all accounts, the most content rabbit in Willow Creek. His fur was a soft, dappled brown. His whiskers twitched with an almost perpetual cheer, and his eyes, bright and curious, always seemed to hold a twinkle of quiet satisfaction. This satisfaction wasn't born of idleness, but of honest, back-breaking work. Barnaby owned the finest carrot farm in the valley, a sprawling expanse of rich, dark earth, where rows upon rows of vibrant orange carrots grew, their green tops a lush carpet under the sun. Every morning, before the dew had fully evaporated, Barnaby was out there, humming a little tune as he tended to his precious crop. He knew each carrot, each patch of soil, intimately. He'd spent years cultivating this land, learning its rhythms, understanding its needs. His carrots were renowned far and wide, sweet, crisp, and bursting with flavor. Other animals in Willow Creek often spoke of Barnaby's carrots with a sigh of longing, and his stall at the weekly market was always the first to sell out. He had built a comfortable burrow, filled with soft moss and dried wildflowers, and his pantry was always stocked with the freshest produce, a testament to his diligent labor. Life was good, predictable, and full of the simple joys of a harvest well-earned. He had a reputation for generosity, often sharing his surplus with less fortunate creatures, and his laughter was a familiar, comforting sound echoing through the fields. Then came the night the sky fell. It wasn't just a storm. It was a tempest of biblical proportions. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing through the valley with an unimaginable fury. Rain lashed down in sheets, turning the gentle stream that bordered Barnaby's farm into a raging torrent. Barnaby huddled in his burrow, trembling, listening to the terrifying symphony of nature unleashed. Trees groaned and snapped, the earth vibrated with the force of the downpour, and the air was thick with the smell of wet soil and fear. He prayed it would pass, that his beloved farm would withstand the onslaught. But when the first rays of dawn finally pierced the bruised, gray sky, what Barnaby emerged to was a scene of utter devastation. His vibrant green fields were gone, swallowed by a sea of mud and debris. The neat rows of carrots, his life's work, were ripped from the earth, scattered and ruined. The stream had burst its banks, carving new, destructive paths through his land. His cozy burrow, though structurally intact, was flooded, its contents soaked and ruined. The air, once sweet with the scent of growing things, now reeked of damp earth and decay. Barnaby stood amidst the wreckage, his whiskers drooping, his bright eyes wide with shock and despair. He felt a hollowness in his chest, a cold, aching void where his contentment used to be. Everything he had worked for, everything he had built, was gone. Overnight, he felt a profound sense of loss, not just of his farm, but of his identity. Who was Barnaby without his carrots? He was just a rabbit, small and insignificant, adrift in a world that had suddenly turned hostile. Days blurred into a haze of sorrow. He barely ate, barely slept, his once bright fur now dull and matted. He wandered aimlessly, a ghost in his own ruined landscape, the weight of his loss pressing down on him like a physical burden. He saw other animals, his former customers and friends, offering sympathetic glances, but he couldn't bring himself to meet their eyes. He felt a deep shame, a sense of failure that gnawed at his insides. He was a broken rabbit, and he saw no way to mend himself. One evening, as the last sliver of sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, mournful shadows across the ravaged fields, Barnaby found himself sitting on a fallen log, staring blankly at the muddy expanse that was once his farm. A soft hoot broke the silence. Perched on a sturdy branch of an ancient oak, its eyes like twin pools of wisdom, was a wise old owl named Professor Hoot. Professor Hoot was known throughout Willow Creek for his vast knowledge and his uncanny ability to offer solace and perspective. He had seen many seasons come and go, many triumphs and many tragedies. Barnaby, lost in his misery, barely registered the owl's presence at first. Professor Hoot, however, was patient. He watched Barnaby for a long moment, his head tilted slightly. Finally, he spoke, his voice a low, resonant murmur. "Barnaby, he began. "You seem to have lost your way." Barnaby flinched, startled. He hadn't realized anyone was watching him. "My way?" he mumbled, his voice hoarse. "I've lost everything, Professor. My farm, my livelihood, my purpose." Professor Hoot blinked slowly. "Indeed, you have lost your carrots, and your fields are in disarray. But have you truly lost everything?" Barnaby looked up, a flicker of confusion in his eyes. "What else is there?" The owl descended from the branch, landing softly beside Barnaby. "Barnaby," he said, his gaze steady and penetrating, "your worth was never in the number of carrots you grew, nor in the neatness of your rows. Your worth is in you. It is in your resilience, your dedication, your ability to nurture life from the soil. Those qualities, my dear rabbit, are not washed away by a storm. They are etched into your very being." Barnaby listened, a seed of an idea beginning to sprout in the barren landscape of his mind. "But how can I rebuild? It's all gone." Professor Hoot gently nudged a small, muddy root with his claw. "This root, Barnaby, has been through the storm. It is battered, yes, but it still holds the promise of life, just as you do. The storm took your possessions, but it did not take your spirit, your knowledge, your capacity to work and to create. These are your true treasures." He continued, "True worth isn't in what you own, but in who you are. It's in the strength of your spirit, the depth of your character, the unwavering belief in your ability to overcome. The storm tested you, Barnaby, but it did not break you. It merely revealed the true strength that lay within." Barnaby looked at the muddy root, then back at the owl. A strange warmth began to spread through his chest, chasing away some of the cold despair. He thought of all the years he had spent learning about the soil, about the cycles of growth, about the resilience of nature itself. He remembered the joy he felt in planting a tiny seed and watching it flourish. That joy, that knowledge, that passion, it was still there, deep inside him. It hadn't been washed away. He had been so focused on what he had lost, he hadn't seen what he still possessed: himself, his skills, his experience, his unwavering spirit. He realized that the storm, while devastating, had also offered him a profound lesson. It had stripped away the superficial, revealing the core of who he was. He wasn't just a carrot farmer. He was Barnaby, a creature of perseverance and dedication. He looked at the ruined fields, and for the first time in days, he saw not just destruction, but possibility. He saw the rich soil, still capable of sustaining life. He saw the sun rising anew each day. He saw the strength within himself, waiting to be rekindled. With a renewed sense of purpose, Barnaby began to rebuild. It wasn't easy. The mud was thick, the debris heavy, and the work was arduous. But this time, his whiskers twitched with determination, not despair. He worked tirelessly, clearing the land, one muddy clod at a time. Other animals, seeing his renewed spirit, came to offer help. Squirrels brought nuts for sustenance. Beavers helped clear debris from the stream, and even the usually aloof deer offered to help mend fences. Barnaby accepted their help with gratitude, his heart swelling with a sense of community he hadn't fully appreciated before. He replanted his fields, starting with a small patch, nurturing each seed with even greater care than before. He learned new techniques for flood prevention, building small berms and channels to protect his land. He diversified his crops, planting not just carrots, but also radishes and lettuce, understanding that resilience lay in adaptability. Slowly, painstakingly, his farm began to recover. The green shoots emerged from the earth, a testament to his unwavering spirit. His laughter, once muted by sorrow, now rang out through the valley, clearer and more joyful than ever. He had lost everything, but in losing it, he had found something far more valuable: an unshakable belief in himself. He had learned that true worth isn't in what you possess, but in the strength of your spirit and the unwavering belief in your ability to overcome. Barnaby, the rabbit who lost everything overnight, had not only rebuilt his farm, But he had also rebuilt himself, stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. He was a living testament to the power of perseverance, a beacon of hope for all who faced adversity. His story became a whispered legend in Willow Creek, a reminder that even when the world seems to crumble, the most important thing to never lose is yourself.